Hey, Gene.
What's up, dude?
Hey, man. What's going on?
I'm all right. How goes it wherever you are?
I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah?
Yeah, right near New York.
And how's everything up there? How's the weather up there and everything?
Last night kind of got cold. It was like 40s, 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know it's going to warm up soon.
Well, no, a couple of days before it was 90. You know?
That's New York.
You know? It was great to meet you at Melodic Rock a couple of years ago. It was a real pleasure.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you kept in touch and kept, watching what we're doing. And
I listened to the new CD last night, American Trash, and, I really, really enjoyed it. I sat back and, it had a lot of diversity, and your vocals are, amazing.
Thank you.
So, it's really, it's not metal, but it's just good hard rock music, melodic,
Yeah.
And I actually just watched the video for Angels Cry this morning, and that was pretty cool, too. I really enjoyed it. Probably one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Oh, great. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
There's been pretty good reaction. You never know. You never know what people are going to think. You work on the record, you do your thing, you do your best, and then you cross your fingers and pray.
Right. You work with so many people. Ramones, Kiss, Doro. The list goes on. Is there anyone that really impacted you in music?
As far as people I have worked with?
Right, yeah.
I'll tell you the truth, all in different ways. And I think I've been, really fortunate with the people that I've worked with, only because, they're all kind of really extreme in their own space.
Right.
So, for example, Kiss, to me, is probably, the greatest, hard rock band and glam rock, whatever you want to call it, in the history of music. So to get a chance to work with them
right.
is, forget it. Then at the same time, I get to work with the Ramones. The Ramones is the most legendary punk band in the history of music. So that's it's kind of completely the opposite.
Right.
But at the same time, I got credits there, And then, Doro in her own way, or Debbie Harry, Debbie Harry, you know about Debbie Harry.
Right.
Wendy, her thing, she's a pop idol. Meanwhile, she's so ahead of her game. With everything. And, she's probably the first girl rapper ever. She's done so many cool things. Doro, at the same time, she's like the queen of metal from Germany. She's
right.
around for, 40 years she's been doing this, and she's stood fast through everything. So I've been really lucky, I think, in that way, that I've managed to almost get my fingers in all these different, I hate to say it, even on the boys group thing. So I worked with NSYNC,
Right.
NSYNC and Justin Timberlake were probably the biggest selling boys group in the history of music. And you couldn't get much further from NSYNC and the Ramones.
Oh, definitely. Do you ever get starstruck?
Not really, but I have a lot of respect.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Is it?
That's a good answer, yeah.
It's do I get starstruck? I don't think so, really. I've got, really, Zeppelin and these idols, but people like the Ramones or people I never looked at it like that because I was in the Plasmatics, so we were like brothers and, kind of doing the same thing. We were beating around the same clubs back in the day. We all were kind of in the same place. So it wasn't meeting them was oh God, I can't believe I'm meeting the Ramones, because I knew them for years.
Right.
We're all, messing around in CBGBs trying to get a nut.
Wow. Some of these bands are legendary in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and stuff, and you're actually part of it. So that's a big accomplishment. Plus, you got a brand new great album that just came out. The last one was Faith in 2008, and, hopefully this one really breaks the mold for you, because I really enjoyed it, as I said. Do you think there'll be another Crown of Thorns CD?
I think there will be, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure when, but I think there will be. it's entered my mind already. So, because I think that doing this record with Micki was a lot of fun. It's great, and it kind of, just since I hadn't made a record since 2008, not this kind of record.
Right.
I'm always working. I had a recent hit with like a huge Asian artist, about 3 months ago. It was number one on Billboard, actually. Wow. And that's a complete different thing, and that's like an Asian, boys group or whatever. Yeah. But I haven't been doing rock records for a while. So I missed it, and getting back in the room with Micki and doing this and feeling that feeling again kind of gets you back into it.
Right.
Kind of like, I want to do more of this again.
What's your impression of Micki?
I love Micki. Micki and I have been great friends, for a long time. I mean, at the beginning, we had Crown of Thorns, we were in that band together, and then, of course, we had our little falling out. You know how it is, egos, how we are. Everybody goes through it. All bands go through it. Right. And, a few years later, we kind of found ourselves living in the same part of L.A. together. And we ran into each other. We were like, it was really good what we did, and we should do more, later on. And I never really entertained the idea of him coming back in Crown of Thorns because Tommy's been in Crown of Thorns. We did 6 albums after that did fairly well. So, I didn't really want to mess with that. Right. But at the same time, we always kind of felt, we just spent a lot of time together. We got along. We had fun together. So first we ended up doing a couple of gigs together in London. We were doing other things, and we just kept saying, we should make a record together. So I love him. He's a great guy. He's a really talented guy. He's just got a really unique style. I love his playing on this record. It's really good. And we have a real magic when we write together, and it's like, I like writing with different people. You get different results. You get different things, as you see. I'll write a Ramones song, and it's nothing like this. But there's a beauty of working with Dee Dee and Joey. Right. That creates a certain magic. Right. And I'm like that. I'm like kind of chameleon. And when I work with Micki, we kind of get something. It's something that comes out of that stew that's just unique. Because it's what he brings to the table, what I bring to the table, and it just creates something special together. Right.
How much different is the writing process from Crown of Thorns to this album?
You mean from Faith, for example?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, for a lot of the Crown of Thorns stuff, I write most of the stuff. Right. Even though the last record, Michael Page, for example, was involved, and he co-wrote a really good song on the last record called Rock Ready. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. But a lot of the stuff I end up doing by myself. On the first record, Micki and I wrote a lot of the stuff. I did write a little bit on my own, like Standing on the Corner. I don't know if you remember the debut. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A couple of things. And plus we brought in some other people. Paul Stanley was involved. So there were some different people involved in that first record. But all the other records, it was kind of all on me. So you're alone when you're doing things, so you have a certain feeling. But of course, when you're writing with somebody else, like writing with Micki, you're gonna have a little different thing to it because you have somebody to bounce things off of, and just different things come out of it. Right. So a little bit different process, With Micki, he's got a riff. He'll start playing a riff. I'll just start singing over it, blah blah blah, and we'll just do it that way. With Crown of Thorns or these other albums, I'll come up with the riff. I'll sing the melody over it. Right. Cool. Yeah, definitely cool.
Listening to the new album, American Trash, my favorite track was Just Breathe. I don't know why, it just, it felt good to me and stuff like that. Can you tell me anything about that particular song?
It's a love song, obviously. I'm a sucker for ballads. And that's it's kind of similar to a Standing on the Corner for you, if you know what I mean. Uh-huh. That's just hold on one second. That's just my feeling on it, and I just love that song. It's just an emotional love song, right? And I don't know if you're thinking, lyrically or what exactly you're.
Well, I was just just leaning back in my chair, and I'm just listening to it, and it flowed well. I liked the lyrics, I liked the music, I liked everything about it.
Well, good. I mean, I really love it too, and to tell you the truth, it's one of my favorite songs on the record. And it's just, whenever we write ballads or I write ballads, I just try to make it like it's a story that you're trying to literally sing to a girl. And here you're trying to put a girl at ease to just let her know that, what we have here is real. It's not going anyplace.
Right.
And I just want you to just chill and just breathe and just relax instead of stressing out and thinking,
right.
there's going to be a big problem or things. Just breathe, put your mind at ease and just chill. And then the whole idea with that is to try to create a soundtrack musically around that, to me, that really gets that feeling across. And like you just said, I just laid back, listened to it, and it's supposed to be to a girl, but it's at the same time, it's for guys too, because it should be a song that you could listen to and say, there's a lot of times I wish I could just say this to some of the chicks I hang out with,
right.
Somebody that I really care for, where she just relax. And so this is kind of a reflection of what you might think and what you would want to say, and at the same time, that's how you write songs. That's how I write songs when I write lyrics,
Cool. When you were growing up, was music always your passion, or was there anything else?
It was pretty much music. I mean, I was into dirt bikes. When I was young, like really young, like, whatever, even starting at 10, I used to, get little mini bikes and, them and fix them with the ones with the little lawnmower motors and from there, sell it and then buy a bigger one. And I built all my stuff up. And then finally it ended up to, buying musical instruments. Right. But I loved music from the beginning. I always knew. I was in junior high school rock band, I think when I was, 12, 13 years old. Uh-huh. As soon as I got a taste for it, I just really knew that this is what I wanted to do.
Right. What was your first instrument?
Drums. No, saxophone.
Saxophone. Wow.
The recorder.
Wow. Yeah, my daughter plays trumpet, so
she does.
I'm used to that kind of stuff.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I started playing sax.
Uh-huh.
And then, I was pretty good actually at the very beginning, and then drums. Drums came pretty close to around the same time. So I was a drummer first, and I was actually a singing drummer. And then I kind of, I taught my neighbor to play drums, so he took over drums, and next thing you know, I moved to bass in our little, junior high school rock band thing, and then I started playing bass, and then moved to guitar, and I'd kind of move around wherever I was needed, whatever was missing in the band.
You played everything, it sounds like, So, tell me a little bit about the Plasmatics. When you became part of the band, did you have to audition, or you knew somebody, or how'd that work?
I had to audition. It was at the very early stages of the band. So the band I was in another punk band that I had joined called NYN, and we had just opened for the Plasmatics in like a really small club somewhere.
Right.
I don't remember what the club was. And then all of a sudden I saw an ad, I think in the Village Voice, Plasmatics were looking for a bass player. So I wrote to the guy and I said, hey, I don't know if you remember me, I was in this other band and I'm interested in auditioning. So I went through the motions, I auditioned, I remember basically on the train in New York, a bunch of bass players trying to go audition for this thing, and it took a couple months, 2-3 months or something of everybody auditioning, and then one day he just called me and he said, okay. Wow. You know what? We like you. You're the guy. And you can join the band. Just want you to know that at the beginning, you're not going to make any money.
That's good.
And you got to kind of put everything into the band. And for the first 6 months or a year, that's it. All we do is just work, and you're going to see what happens. But I'll promise you that after a certain time, we're gonna turn this world upside down. We're going to make things happen. And I believed it. I just so we got in there and I started contributing and then I watched the whole thing we just made it happen. And then the band got, started moving pretty quickly.
Wow. What was your impression of Wendy?
I loved her. She was great. We always got along really well, her and I. And we all had pretty different personalities. Richie was a little bit crazy, we were all a bit crazy, let's be honest. But at the same time, Wendy really liked me too. I was young. You gotta say, I was like 17. I think I joined the band or something. I was a young guy, and she, we just got along really well. She was a hard worker. She was like, a lot of people thought we were like crazy drug addicts and stuff. We really weren't.
Right.
was one of the hardest working bands I've ever been in. I mean, that band rehearsed every single day from I think it was 10 to 5 every day. The show. It was like a 9 to 5 job.
Wow.
And it didn't matter what we had to rehearse. Didn't matter if we were doing a show. Didn't matter if we were making a record. We were in that thing every day rehearsing like a day job. She was running like 5 miles a day, every day, doing her thing. So it was so much devotion in that band that there was nothing else in your life.
Right.
You know, which is a little bit different than what things are like now. Back then, that was it. We lived, ate, shit, Plasmatics. That's it. If we weren't rehearsing, we were driving around Long Island trying to find a Cadillac to blow up.
Wow.
Or we were, going to teach some guy to do pyro on the roof of our loft. Oh,
wow. That had to be some experience.
It was some experience. That's all we did. We did everything ourselves.
Wow.
At the beginning stages of that band, everything was us. We drove around in this little crappy green van to go tour with no heat, driving through the States, driving through Canada. We'd be fighting with the roadies to be able to have a little time to be in the truck that had the equipment with heat.
Wow.
It was tough, man, at the beginning.
Wow.
And then it got better. It got better. No?
Cool.
Those were the days.
Wow. Do you remember anything that was like, special on a tour rider or whatever that Plasmatics would ask for?
That's a good question. Oh, you're thinking about the old Van Halen, Brown M&M thing.
No, I just wanted to know what you guys, I like information,
To be honest with you, I can't think of anything that we'd have that was really that special on our rider, to be honest.
Right.
I can't, unfortunately. I can't think of something. This is a long time ago, dude. You got to.
Yeah. I know.
It's like
that was the vinyl days.
40 years ago or something, or not quite, but 35, 36 years ago.
Wow. American Trash. Sorry about jumping around, but I want to hear everything. So was there any song that was a little bit difficult to record than others?
Interesting. I think American Trash, maybe.
Right.
Because I know it sounds very simple, but somehow just trying to get this balance of what I was trying to get out of this song, in the production.
Right.
I almost wanted to, like the way the chorus is, the way the vocals are, that kind of pounding drum, the way it was going. You wanted to kind of rock, but at the same time, I don't know if you notice, it has some little other influences in it.
Right.
The yeah. It's just the way those vocals are set up. It's almost,
Right. Yeah.
It's just a different thing. So I think that song kind of had it didn't just flow as easily because these different elements had to all kind of work together.
Right.
And I was never quite, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm there yet. I don't know.
Right.
Right up to the very end. I don't think it's until I started getting good reviews from people where they said, man, I love the record, that I'm finally at ease with where it ended up.
Right. Wow.
You know how that works sometimes?
Yes. You're
not at ease. Because until you start getting feedback, people tell you, wow, that's a great song. You're still like, I don't know if it's there, man. Even after it's done.
Right. Will this be a studio project, or will you go on the road?
We're planning to go on the road. We've been in conversations every day. We have tentative dates. We're trying to put a tour together of the UK. We actually discussed some things here in the States. So we're working on it. We're just, speaking to a couple of different agents, and just trying to get it together. We'd love to go out on the road. I miss being on the road. That's really what this is all about.
Right.
Is getting out there on the road. It's not quite that easy these days, but, we're trying to make it happen. We're working on it.
Right. And the release date is?
I think it's June 4th and June 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and that's on Frontier Records?
Yes, it's on Frontiers Records.
Right. Does Serafino get his hands involved in any of your stuff?
Not really. Serafino is first of all, I have a long relationship with Serafino.
Right.
He's been releasing records of mine here, for probably 20 years. I don't know,
Right.
And I know that he is opinionated, and he has things that he wants. And to tell you the truth, I think the only advice he really gave is he wants a melodic rock record. That's what he likes.
Right.
He says, if I'm going to sign something to my label is a melodic rock label, and what I am into is bands that I feel are, prominent in that world.
Right.
So if you're going to make a record with me, I want you to make a record that I believe is what I think you are. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So in other words, if you and Micki, if you and Micki get together and make a record, I would expect that you guys are going to come up with something that's similar to what the debut was, because that's when you guys worked together and that's what you came up with. So I think it would be a good idea if you, try to capture the same magic that you did on that record.
Wow.
And I don't know if you as a listener, I don't know if it sounds like the first record. We didn't try to make it sound like the first record. We just tried to, as I just said, capture the same feeling and the same process we used on that first record, and just we see what comes out naturally from that.
Well, it came out great, so I'm very happy with it. Like I said, we will do a review of it. I just want to listen a couple more times, and that'll be up there.
Sure.
So congratulations, American Trash Beauvoir Free comes out in June on Frontiers Records, and it was a pleasure talking to you again, Gene, and I really appreciate your friendship.
All right, same here. Thanks again for hanging in there and being here, and hopefully we'll get to see each other again.
Cool. We'd like to say anything to the fans out there?
Man, thanks for your continued support. We really appreciate it, and hope you love the record, and we hope to see you out there on the road soon.
Thanks a lot, Gene.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Hey, bye. Bye-bye.